Yo, 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 yo. Can you hear me? Good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of How Did We Get Here? Better Than Your Average is the channel and the movement. How Did We Get Here is the show. I'm your host, Jay Carter. Got my man that's always heard and never ever seen, Skeens.
You.
AKA the new nickname, the Wizard. The Wizard of Voss. But welcome you guys. Again. Two brothers. Two cousins like brothers. I'm always forgetting my intro. Two cousins like brothers. Talking any and everything and the process. Again, how did we get here? So welcome back, guys. Got one of our quick hits. Just want to give y'all some continue to keep the content pumping, you guys. Appreciate the support, man. We just dropped a really dope episode with baby sis Angelica Hargrove, and the response so far, man. We just dropped the episode. Today is September 25th. So we just dropped it today at 2 p.m. And again, appreciate the feedback, the positive comments, and all of that. So again, guys, you guys are going to help us grow this channel and this movement. We are passionate about putting out content. We're passionate about, having discussions about positive relationships and just discussions about everything as men. Again, we want to promote that men are good communicators. Men can convey their thoughts and ideas in a healthy manner. So that's what me and Skeens are trying to do. We also send y'all love, peace, and blessings as we are still in the age of the Rona. And, we truly and honestly love you guys. We're praying for you and your family that you're healed, healthy, blessed, and prosperous. So, Skeens, how things been going for you, my brother?
Hectic, but it's good. I'm, you're ready to start the vacation very soon. Go hang out with my mom for her birthday.
Right. Shout out. Mom's birthday is coming up soon.
Yes, sir.
My one of my favorites, or she says flavorites. That's our little play word.
Yeah. It'd be cool to hang out with my mom for a couple of days.
Yeah. So you can go back home. Work is work, man. The primary thing I've been focused on right now is, again, growing this and just
daddy
duties. Managing and navigating the newness of wifey being at home and also still with the boys, even though, my mother-in-law does a great job helping. But it is a process with my wife trying to sit there and do what she has to do and also monitor what the 7-year-old is doing. And he has his issues some days where I'm like, dude, and I'm trying to talk to him like, yo, what did you, we have real honest, open conversations already. So, again, appreciate y'all tuning in. I want to shout out to my boy Scoot, rocking the merch today from the Everyday I Evolve.
What up, Scoot?
That's EDIE. He's got his clothing line. He's promoting wellness. He's an entrepreneur. He has a podcast. He has his own clothing line. You know what I'm saying? So
I still hop on the mic every now and then.
You know what I'm saying? He hops. The boy can spit, and he's into this wellness movement as well, man. So I just want to give Scoot a shout out, man, before we get started. But we do want to jump right into things. And I was sitting this morning getting ready for work, and I had an interview planned from the Breakfast Club with Chris Rock, and so they were talking a lot of different things. And he's recently started going to therapy. I don't want to misquote it, but I didn't know people equate how many hours they go to therapy a week or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he's doing 7 hours a week now. And he's like, during the age of the Rona, he's had more time to think. And, he was talking about how he even think about moves he had to make investment wise and how he was good. Like, if he didn't have to work for a year, but he's like, what if I can't work for 3 years? And different moves and different people he had to, and he was saying that he has like a condition where he doesn't pick up nonverbal cues very well.
Yeah.
So he was like, even in situations where he's with women, he said, for example, where it could be blatantly obvious that the chick is very into him and wants it to go to the next level, like he doesn't get it.
Like a foreign language.
You know what I'm saying? So he was saying what he does now when he goes on dates. I think he said he actually sends chicks like beforehand a link of like the condition that he has, and this is kind of the way how this plays out in me. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that, you know, that was intriguing. But what he was talking about is in his stand-up, and me and Skeens talk about this all the time, is in relationships and when we first meet people, everybody goes through the representative phase where you're trying to present your best self all the time. And that goes from the way you dress, the way your appearance, to that first time he or she is coming to your crib, how your crib is always perfectly laid out and you're always saying the right thing, and you're always super supportive and all of that stuff in the beginning. But again, as me and Skeens talking about, what happens when the representative phase is over? What happens when the honeymoon phase is over? But anyway, Chris Rock talks about the representative phase. But the part that I thought was intriguing, guys, is that he was saying in therapy, you have to be the worst version of yourself for it to work and be effective. If you go into therapy with any form of representative mode of yourself, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Got a quick question based off that.
Go ahead.
I wonder, do some trust issues with relationships start because of the initial lie to each other?
Say more.
The quote unquote, the representative. Because you're coming out of the gate lying to her about who you are and her to you. Whether we're talking about fake eyelashes.
Right.
You bought your homeboys J's that's not yours.
Yeah.
You stole cologne, or you went and got the samples of colognes and different things like that.
Right.
Or whatever the different things. You got a new fit that's not yours. You're going to take it back. Either way, the initial meeting is a lie, both ways.
Right.
So instead of coming with your naked truth, does some of those those trust issues, or maybe the way you may feel that the relationship is not going to really have already plateaued off the initial meeting because you wasn't really being your authentic self during that meeting.
Right.
So based off what he's saying, his nonverbal cues and things like that, I wonder could that have played with some of his relationship issues with his marriage.
I'm sure it did.
His marriage went awry.
And here's the thing too that goes into, and we want to take this a myriad of angles, but because we aren't showing the, I can't remember. I think it was in Bebe's Kids. I can't remember what happened in the scene, but he was like, "Do you want the pretty lie or the ugly truth?"
Yeah.
Right. And often we don't want the ugly truth, and we don't show the quote unquote ugly part of ourselves in these relationships. And like you said, when you do, it's so foreign. Like, wait, what is this what is this part of you? Because I always say, guys, for example, or think about it, when your family comes in town for a few days, you're going around getting everything right. Everything's cool every day. You getting up, cooking breakfast. Now, you stay for a smooth few weeks or a month.
It's all.
That might go out the window. You know what I'm saying? The ugly truth is I don't feel like cooking.
It's leftovers and go eat that butt.
You better find what you can find. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. So I was thinking about in relationships, Skeens, why do you guys think we're so afraid to show those negative aspects of ourselves?
I think because, for one, it makes you realize, it makes you think and evaluate with true merit.
Okay.
So if I come to you with this ugly lie, with the ugly truth of who I am, it makes you actually be intentional with your decision of, do you really want to deal with me? Can you take this in?
Right.
What is your risk tolerance?
We talk about that investing. Yeah.
So
you're investing into the relationship.
Exactly.
You gotta assess.
Can you handle it or not?
Right.
So
how much of this can you handle until I'm gonna have you emotionally bankrupt?
Yes, and it plays both ways, right?
Yeah.
So if I come in lying to you, I don't really want to hit you. I don't really want to burden you with all of this, but at the same time, I lie to you out of fear of rejection.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Or fear of being ridiculed or laughed at because of my deficiencies.
Right.
Same way when you're lying, some people lie and say, "Hey, I can take that in." No, you can't.
Right.
Because you haven't really sit down and assess the situation. You haven't really came up with a game plan or a lot of times people don't have a reference to how to deal with it.
Right.
So you don't have a reference of how to deal with it. You don't have a game plan of how you're gonna deal with it, and what's your contingency plans when with the meager plan that you say that you have falls apart. Right. Now what?
Right. And you know what I just thought about when, we used to run around with a whole bunch of different kind of guys and stuff back in the day, and talking about fear, rejection. And ladies, y'all find this funny. When you running around, I knew so many dudes that were running around trying to get females and trying to hook females for, and get on with females. Every dude talking about how well endowed they were. Fear of rejection. I mean, everybody's an adult film star.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and the ladies be like,
measure is down where?
Right, and I'm not knocking, but I'm saying dudes will run around and y'all could be honest. Man, I'm like this, and I had a like.
Yeah, if you got John Stockton shorts on,
man, stop it.
But when you start talking about like the fear of rejection, the same way goes with women.
Absolutely.
How for the female? How many times have any of you all approached a guy?
Okay.
The likelihood is very thin. It's very slim.
The ratio was way different. Absolutely.
Because it takes a fearless mentality and a warrior spirit to go and talk to someone, not DMing.
Right.
Walking up to someone.
Right.
And getting to know them.
Yep.
With the intent of wanting to know more about them from an intimate standpoint. And I'm not talking about bedroom only, but intimate.
Mentally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of wanting to further that relationship and grow and see where it goes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's very thin. It's slim pickings when it comes to women that do it. Right. And nowadays is pretty slim when it comes to guys that's willing to jump out on the ledge and actually do the same thing. We're talking about face to face, eye to eye. No, not sliding in DMs. I mean, you can slide in 100 DMs in 2 minutes on the gram or Facebook.
Right.
There's nothing there. There's no meat. There's nothing tangible about that interaction. So yeah, you're not really being your authentic self doing that conversation because you're lying about who you are just to get the engagement.
Mm-hmm. And another thing, a point to think about, guys, in your relationships as we're trying to evolve and make these ironclad relationships, as you're doing your assessment, as you're doing your risk tolerance, as Skeens was talking about, be honest with yourself, with you and your significant other. Can your relationship make it through the mess and the ugly stuff of our human being, of the human existence? And, I always give this example, Skeen. A lot of people look at me as, pretty straight-laced kind of guy. Jay never drank. Jay didn't smoke. Jay's been with his girlfriend. All this kind of stuff. But Skeens, if y'all could see inside of here, oh my God, where am I? Where is this? What? And the sooner that we're all honest about that, the better. I can give it. I like to be honest about me, and because of a lot of things. Some people ask me why I've always had good relationships and understood how to communicate with women. Some would say better than the average guy is because of the relationship I had with my mom. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I kind of felt like I had a certain understanding of how to navigate and communicate a certain way with women. And when I got older in the workplace, I remember, I'll tell this a couple stories. I'm gonna tie in together here, but I had what I would call a big homie that and he'll remain nameless. But big homie would pull me to the side and ask me questions about different women I saw, and I was very young. And he would basically ask me questions like, "Do you think that girl, would do this, or do you think that girl would do that? What about her?" And just the way that I looked at the world at that time, I was like, "Oh no, she wouldn't." And my voice was like Mickey Mouse. "Oh no, she would never. She's married. She has kids." And after a while, talking about the how we look at men and women, I found out that women were much more like men than I had ever known or seen in my life. Right. So I carry this with me, and I bring that baggage into the relationship with me and Liz, right? So we're dating forever, we're married, whatever, no significant drama in a relationship or anything. But one part of my frailty and in my ego, she's making moves in her job, she's doing what she's doing, that's not the issue, but a lot of times she would have shifts in her schedule. She'd be, "Hey, I gotta and I'd have to admit, my thoughts are, she keep me, I call her my wiferager. She keeps me lined up. She manages, and I gotta go in. And she would tell me her schedule so far, I'll be forgetting these days. So some morning she would get up a little early, right? And that thing in me was like, "Yo, she really going to work, Jay?
Well, yeah.
Where's she really going? She going to work?" And that thing was there. And so I spent a lot of time, evaluating myself and in my thoughts. And I had to be honest with myself and say, I got to be honest with her about how that's making me feel. Yeah. Even though I knew the part of me was like, "Jay, this is unwarranted." But so anyway, I told her, when your schedule, let me know, like, in a point where. And she was like, "Oh, so you basically let me know you're a little crazy." And I was like, yeah. She's like, "Okay, it's cool."
Well, you was introduced to the worst of the worst in terms of scenarios.
Absolutely.
And it took the mask off a lot of people when you saw people that were in quote unquote the ideal relationships.
Yes.
As you talked about your friends online.
Yep.
Quoting Rapunzel and everything.
All that kind of stuff.
But they were really
turmoil.
Correct.
Yep.
So when you start realizing that it was not really an outlier,
right?
It's a healthy percentage of people that are going through these situations.
Yep.
And you start realizing that anyone can find themselves subject to the game.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I've always told myself I've never taken myself or give myself so much credit that I would say that I'm above the game.
Right. It's cold out. We always say it's cold game out here. Anybody can get it.
Exactly.
That's one of our things.
So you start seeing that the body count of people that have became part of this carnage and
right.
So it does bring a form of fear, because you start looking at in your mind, you're thinking of the worst of the worst. Or what if, because if it could happen to them, it could happen to me.
Right.
But at the same time, that's when you have to, one, really have trust in who you're with.
Yeah, that's where it comes in at.
And really, more of anything, not just the trust, believe in who they are. Because if you spent enough time with that person and you understand the fabric of who they are and the cloth they're cut from, you really, without even having to like second guess it, you know their intentions towards you and your intentions towards them, because they really love you, and the situation is as solid as it is.
Right.
It's unwavering.
Yep, that's it. Yep. And that was a lesson for me. And again, just being open and honest, that me being able to convey that to my wife and her to still be able to say, okay, you crazy, but I'm going to adjust. I'm going to adjust and make sure, hey, remember, I got to go. And that was like, okay. And, at that point, I got to a point where I would ask her because again, me being able to be vulnerable in front of her unlocked another part of the intimacy with my wife, right? Me having that vulnerability and say, hey, this is where I'm feeling insecure. Because as dudes, can't show no sign of weakness, right? But if I'm in this healthy relationship, I want to be secure enough to be insecure in front of her and tell her, hey, this is how I'm feeling about this right now. And because that relationship dynamic is so healthy, and it's like, again, one hand washes the other, we get into the cycle of caring and loving for each other. She was like, cool, I understand that. Okay. And this is what we'll do to adjust.
And there's a fine line between that crazy and love.
Absolutely.
As well as, I think she would appreciate the fact that you're taking the time out to notice the small things.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Which a lot of times, a lot of people over time become complacent.
Yep.
In the relationship. So the fact, and you stop, your wife change her hair, you don't pay attention.
You don't notice. Yep.
She gained weight, lost weight. She been in GMP 90X, whatever it is, you're not really paying attention, because it's become, we're together. And that's when that infiltration started happening, and Lord of the Rings, Saruman started going around when she started getting other looks and other things. But the fact of that crazy and that phobia, or that fear of what could be, keeps you on your toes and keeps you on your point about making sure that you are paying attention to everything about her, what makes her happy, what makes her tick.
Yep.
And as long as she's happy, it's reciprocated both ways.
There you go. That's the
relationship remains.
There you go.
Solid.
Yeah, and I think here's also another fine line point is we always talk about everybody has a different breaking point. What they can tolerate in a relationship. You got to determine what your make or breaks are. Everybody's make or breaks are different, right? So in that, the thing that you have to think about is in the fine line and in the balance, what are some things that are, for lack of a better term, the natural, normal ugly things, and what are ugly things that are being presented in this relationship that are unhealthy? Because there's a healthy side of that, and then there's an unhealthy side of ugliness in us.
Well, that goes to when you're talking about Chris Rock going to the therapist.
Right.
How many of us are, we've talked about in our community, I believe that all of us in our community
have PTSD.
Has PTSD, and every one of us needs therapy.
Yep.
And I think it starts at a younger age. And
funny thing you say that real quick.
Occurrence.
I got, I ain't going to shout his name out because I haven't talked to him yet, but I got a gentleman that's from Arkansas, and he's an ex-soldier, been through war, seen some crazy things and all of that, and he is one of the guys I look to. He's always so open and honest about his emotion and when his PTSD is kicking up. You know who you are, Smoke, but I want to have him come on, and I was just thinking about that today. So anyway, though, I'm sorry.
And I think improving our mental health and our mental stability from a kid on up allows us to be able to communicate with each other, allows us to be able to communicate our feelings,
right,
and not pin a lot of that stuff up, and a lot of times the people that we love become prey and become victim of that pent up aggression that we have.
Right. Okay.
So if we start at a younger age and make it cool to care about your mental health.
There you go. Right.
As cool as we make it to be able to twerk or recite certain Madea episodes and things like that, or different things that we in our community, we need to make mental health as cool as that, and basically champion people and support them.
Right.
And from there, as from the youth, I think a lot of our relationships would be better with your brothers, with your sisters, even in your marriage. Those different that different therapy is needed, and we need to be as brutally honest in those sessions as necessary, because as you said with Chris Rock, the therapists really can't do their job until they really know the extent of what they're working with.
Right. You got to know the extent of the injury in order to treat it.
But if you're hiding some of what's really going on, I can't really fix you. But then you turn back around and tell me I can't do my job.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I don't know what I'm doing. Yep. Well, I don't know what I'm doing because you don't really tell me what's going on. If you come to the doctor's office and say, hey, my leg hurt.
Right.
Okay,
so we're gonna treat for a hurt leg,
but you really been shot.
Absolutely right. Yep.
So I don't know what I don't know how to treat what I don't know.
Right.
So I think those different things, we have to be honest about who we really are.
Yes. And
especially when coming to therapy, you really have to treat that therapist and say everything to that therapist that you would love to say to whoever your significant other or people in your life that you need to actually have these conversations with, and get this stuff off your chest so they can fully understand who you are, as well as they're able to wrap their arms around you and embrace you and love you and give you the support that you really need. But out of fear, I don't want to unveil the things that really hurt me and this mask that I have on, this cape of invisibility.
Right.
I don't want to take it off and let you see that I'm really human. I'm Drago. You know, I bleed.
Indeed. So, guys, we just want, again, we talked about it episode before last. Phobia. Let's eradicate the phobia of being real. And we have to be able to be real, honest, genuine in our relationships. And we got to be able to have those real conversations. And again, we've seen it just so prevalent right now in this time, with the removal of distraction, with the removal of excuses. You have to sit down and drill down and have those conversations. So we posed the question to you guys. What are some of those things that you have buried within yourself that you haven't been able to be honest about with your significant other? And when we talk about significant others, we're not just talking about romantically. Everything is a relationship, whether it's with a coworker, whether it's with your sister, whether it's with an associate. That is a relationship. And a part of this, what we're trying to do in the How Did We Get Here movement, is improve all facets of relationships, all manner of relationships we want to improve. And I think the sooner that we can rid ourselves and take this medicine to get rid of this phobia, the better that we'll, and healthier that we'll see our relationships be. And we'll be able to turn the tide of broken families, of eroded relationships between family members where they're not talking and I don't fool with her no more. But the sooner that we can be real, and just here's the other thing. I always say this is, as a believer, I know that God has given me so much grace and mercy, right? As I was making my journey and my trek, and as I continued, I stumble, fall, but his love for me is unwavering, and he's always welcoming me back into his arms. So that same grace and mercy that we get, but in our real life human relationships, we be wanting to cut folks off, cancel them, get rid of them, throw them away. But he didn't do that same thing with us. So that's the mind that I try to have in being long suffering with people in the process, because I know some of the ugly stuff, and there's still stuff that, if we are honest, there's stuff that we haven't, there's always things that you're dealing with. There's always that part. There's a Music Soul Child song where he said, you got monsters in your attic, closet. So he said there's an attic. If you picture, you got monsters in the attic, and then that boy even said you got a basement and there's closets in the basement. We're all victims to our habits, flaws, and complications. How real is that, man?
Yes, sir.
So let's go through some of these attics, basements, and closets. That's what we want to empower y'all to do. So anyway, that's one of our quick hits. Again, support the channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Even if you think we trash, share it with somebody. Say, hey, look, these dudes are trash. Even if you think we trash, leave a comment and tell us we trash. And don't forget to support us on the Cash App, $HDWGH. How did we get here? I'm your boy Jay Carter. This is my man Skeens.
Yes, sir.
And we'll holler at y'all next time.